Hey, I'm Jimmy Ellison. I'm the pastor here at Noonan City Church. I want to thank you. You'll find as you walk through that we focus on three areas primarily. One is worship, small groups, and local missions. And our purpose is transforming lives for Jesus' sake, helping individuals experience that transformation. And we use these three areas, worship, small groups, and local missions, to help individuals experience that. You'll get a sense of who Noonan City Church is, and I hope that you'll come and worship with us soon. Take care, and God bless.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of this radio station, its management, or its sponsors. Listeners are urged to use their own discernment to draw their own conclusions.
It's now time for Faith Works with Pastor Jimmy Ellison from Noonan City Church.
Good morning, Noonan. I'm Jimmy Ellison, and I'm your host today at Faith Works, where we interview local non-profit leaders and church leaders who are making a difference, showing that faith does indeed work. And we are thrilled today to have Kavian Baker, who is the Executive Director of Sisters for Society, located here in Noonan. And Kavian, I'm so glad to have you on the show today.
I'm glad to be here, Jimmy. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Sure. Well, I knew when I first heard about you, I knew, you know what, this lady has a story to tell, and she is making an impact with her life, and I'm just really am thrilled that you said yeah. So let's just begin a little about Kavian. Tell us a little about yourself, and were you raised here in Georgia?
I actually was. I was raised in Columbus, Georgia.
Okay.
My mom's a single parent of three. I'm one of three. I'm the baby. I'm the only girl.
Are you spoiled?
I am not spoiled. Do not believe that. The youngest is not.
My younger brother's spoiled, but anyway, but you got through that without being spoiled.
Yes, okay. I am not spoiled. My mom did what she had to do to take care of us. So, I grew up in an area where I walked to school every day.
Really?
I did. I walked to school in my elementary school, and then, of course, junior high and high school, we ended up riding the bus. But went to church every Sunday.
Where did you go to church in Columbus?
In Columbus, we grew up going to Smith Road AME Italian Church.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I'm Methodist.
Yes.
All right. Another connection there.
Yes.
Okay.
I grew up there. So, and that was my home church for a long time. And then it wasn't until probably about 19, 20 years old until I changed, and then I started going to another church, Faith Tabernacle. It's a community church. It's non-denominational, and also in Columbus, Georgia. And that's Pastor
Did you
Pullman.
go to college in Columbus?
I did not. I was trying to get away from Columbus.
Yeah. So you got out of the house.
I did. Yes, I went to. I actually graduated here at Clayton State.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
Right,
I graduated in 2011 at Clayton State.
2011.
Yes.
And so you grew up in the in Columbus, where your mom took you to church. You said every Sunday.
We walked to church.
You walked, so that close.
Mm-hmm. Wow. We didn't have a car growing up.
Really?
Yeah, that was a little challenge, but we walked to church, and we caught the Metro bus. Back then it was called the Metro bus.
Did your mom work outside the home?
Oh yes, she worked in a hospital. She worked two jobs. She would get off in one hospital and go to the next hospital. So she had a tough job raising three kids.
Still living?
Oh yes, she is definitely still living, still talking, still calling.
Well, a little shout out to Mom there.
Yes, hey Mommy, love you.
That is so good. That is so good. I can only imagine the life lessons you learned growing up with a mom like that. I mean, hardworking, made sure you were in church every Sunday. That's you put that type of fingerprint on someone's life. You just that sticks with you.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So let me tell a little bit of history about my mom. My mom has 7 sisters, and the 7 of them all have different dynamics. So boys were a favorite in our family, in my opinion. I would say it that way.
Right.
So
you don't hate all men, do you?
Oh Oh, no. I love men.
Especially your husband, right?
Yes, love my husband too. Shout out to him. Hey, Steve. So, it was challenging because I think they were all brought up in a different dynamic as well. So when it came down to raising me, I'm not going to say my mom didn't know how, but she struggled in some of those areas, is in my opinion. So, but she did a great job because I was involved in a lot of community activities. I was Girl Scouts. I was a cheerleader. I went to the nursing homes and volunteered with my church all the time. She kept me involved in those areas where she felt like I need that social experience. Yeah. So with that, I learned a lot of how to give and the passion behind that and what it, not just to receive everything. So that was a great experience. So my mom did that portion of my life. I commend her for that because of the fact that I probably wouldn't be who I am.
I'm about to say, you turned out pretty good, so she did something right.
She did something right. Definitely did something right.
Wow. So when you finished high school, and then what happens? Give us about that 18 to 25.
Ooh.
What happens during that era in your life?
So 18 through 25. Well, at the age of 20, I ended up, well, let's start it off at 18. 18, my mom was determined that I was going to college.
Okay.
I was like, okay, I didn't want to go to college. So I ended up going to Fort Valley.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, in Alabama?
Yeah, no, Fort Valley, Georgia.
Fort Valley, Georgia.
Yes.
Okay.
I went to Fort Valley State University, and I did that for a couple of years, and it wasn't for me. So I ended up coming back. Had a lot of different challenges down there. That's where actually during that time period, I didn't know, one, how to fit in, and it was challenging because part of me wanted to be in a sorority, and then the other part of me wanted to get my lesson, and the other part of me didn't want to wake up. Right. So it was challenging to meet everybody's goals, and then I finally realized that I wasn't down here for me. I was down here for my mom. So that made it even harder. So I actually ended up dropping out of school.
Okay.
And I started working full time, working at a restaurant, thinking I was making money and, doing what I'm not supposed to be doing. But the whole time, I think my mom still thought I was in school. Not sure if she even figured that out yet. But, so we're going to move on from that. Just in case I get the phone call later. But I ended up moving back home. She actually came down there and got me actually after an incident where I ended up try to commit suicide.
Oh, okay.
And my roommate actually found me on the floor in our apartment. So I ended up being rushed to the hospital. They pumped my stomach, and then, of course, you get institutionalized for a while. And after that is when I ended up coming home.
Wow.
So, and that's when I think my mom finally realized that probably wasn't for me at the same time. So I moved back home and got a job. And it was funny because guess where I started working at? An institution that helps people that's suicidal.
Really? Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
I started working at the time I was working at West Central Georgia. And I was always on the adolescence unit. And I love talking to the kids, talking to them about why they were there and why they thought they were there. And I also ended up pregnant at this time. So it was my first child, and it was interesting, to say the least, because
being a mama, being a young mother
at the age of 20 and working at an institute where I probably could have ended up myself. So it was eye-opening.
Yeah. What were you hearing in that season of life? What were you hearing God say in that season? Were you listening to God? Were you talking to God a lot during that season of your life? Do you recall?
To be honest, I didn't know him. I didn't know where he was because I had been through so many different things. And it wasn't... wow. It's not until later when I've truly experienced him. Yeah. But during those times, you know, when you go through the different challenges in life, the first thing everyone tells you to do is pray. But how can you pray if you don't know what you're praying for, or you didn't know how to pray? And that was me. Yeah. So I would just, you know, say okay and keep it moving. Yeah. But after my son was born, life started getting a little bit more harder and a little bit more challenging because my father ended up passing 2 years after my son was born. And before he ended up passing, I was actually getting ready to go into the Navy. I was going to sign my temporary custody over my son to my father. Okay. And it was the weirdest time because my father, he wanted me to go to the Navy so I could make it big and I could come back and take care of him. He had this whole plan all out. It was so funny. but he called us over there one day. Well, called me and my son over there one day, and we was in the room and he wasn't looking good. He wasn't feeling good. And, you know, I guess he knew that he wasn't going to make it through that weekend. And
wow. So had he been sick?
I didn't know he had been sick. Okay. But apparently he had been sick. Okay. And now, mind you, I told you I grew up single parent, and my father and I, we were just like really strongly reconnecting at this time. Okay. So, and I say reconnecting, but we never really lost connection. But I was grown and I was able to do what I wanted to go over and see him and stuff. So it was that during that time I had the hardest time. It took me, well, he didn't make it through the weekend, honestly. And it took me almost a year and a half to even go back to his gravesite. Wow. And I'm not even going to cry. I'm trying not to. Yeah. During that time, I was angry. I was angry at a lot of different people. I didn't know why. But if I would have met you back then, you would have thought I was fine. But unless you knew me, then you would have known something was wrong. Yeah. 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 So it was challenging during that time, but you realize that those times with your parents, they're precious moments. Yes, yes. And I try to tell everyone that I can. Your parents can only do what they can do while they're here. Yeah. Value it. Try not to be upset. I'm trying not to be, during that time I was trying not to be a mean person because that wasn't me. That wasn't who I was. Mm-hmm. So, time went on. My brother, I'm not going to shout him out. My brother actually decided to give me a phone call. He was getting married around this time. A couple of years later, time went on. But he decided to give me a call and say, hey, why don't you move up here? He lived in Fayetteville, Georgia at the time. Okay. And
was he much older than you?
Oh, yeah, he's older. Yeah, he's older. He's like 4 years older than me. I'm smarter, though.
No doubt. No doubt.
I'm prettier, too.
No doubt. No doubt. Ron and I will attest to that. No doubt.
No, but I love my brother. But he did. He at that time he was kind of like a saving grace.
Yeah, yeah. Kind of reached out and said, "Come on," and of course you brought your son with you.
I did. I brought my baby boy with me, and we lived on my brother's couch for a while. It was in the front room, and my son slept on the couch, and I slept on the floor for a while.
Your son is at this time 3 or 4?
He was, he was about 3.
And
4 years old,
were you working or were you staying home with him?
Well, no, I had lost my job. So the challenges that happened after my father passed is I just started reacting a little different.
Acting out?
Yeah, like people would say something and I might say something back. Yeah. It wasn't always the nicest thing to do. Sure.
Well, we deal with grief. Everyone deals with grief differently.
Yes. And I had a few close people that, I still, laughed with.
Yeah.
But then there was just some that just, you let them get under your skin and you just didn't know how to cope with them type of people. At that time, I didn't. But now I'm okay. I can love them.
Good. So you lost your job. Did you get a job in Fayetteville?
So it took me a minute to even find a job. So I was working for a temp agency for a while. Okay. Actually in Atlanta.
Gosh, all the way. Okay.
Yeah, so my brother had to give me the lowdown about driving from Fayetteville to Atlanta and leaving at 5 o'clock in the morning just to make it to work at 8 o'clock. I didn't understand the method. I didn't understand the madness, but I got it because downtown traffic is not a joke.
It is not.
So that's what I ended up working for a temp agency for a while. And then I finally landed a permanent job with an aerospace company in College Park. So it wasn't too bad of a commute after a while.
Yeah, College Park, Fayetteville to College Park is very doable.
Yes, definitely very doable. But in the midst of me staying with my brother, baby number 2 happened.
Okay.
But, and that was an interesting conversation between me and my brother and at that time his wife, because that wasn't what I was up here for. He didn't bring me up here for that, and I got it. I understood what he was coming from. And he wanted me to do better than what I was doing. So,
you bring a baby into the world, it changes the dynamics,
it
doesn't
definitely
it?
Does.
So that was your oldest, at this point, your oldest one's 5 or
He's
so.
5.
And then the second one comes along.
Yep.
So when did you meet your husband?
I didn't meet him until 2008, 2009, somewhere around there.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
So your youngest at that time was probably 3 or 4, and the oldest one's around 8 or 9, and this guy comes into your life and sweeps you off your feet.
Don't say that.
I've been married now 11 years, 11, 12 years.
We walked hand in hand. He couldn't pick me up. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I know. She's throwing him under the bus, ain't she, Ryan?
No, I'm kidding.
Steve, right?
Yes, Steve.
That'd be nice to Steve.
He's sleeping right now, so that's not
okay. So he's not listening in, but
I
he'll hear the recording. Trust me.
I hope not. No,
he will. So you of course you got married, and somehow you end up in Newnan, Georgia.
I did.
And how did you get into Newnan, Georgia?
So here's funny. We started out in Fayetteville. We ended up getting a house built at the same time that we was getting married.
Okay.
Don't recommend that ever again.
That's some serious stress.
That is a lot of stress. But we never lived together, and that was going to be the making of our home and all of that. So we actually got a home built in Sonoya.
Okay.
And we lived in Heritage Point. Over there, it was a beautiful.
Yeah, that's a beautiful part of Sonoy.
Yes, it was very beautiful, and a beautiful house, and upstairs, downstairs, and I ended up having surgery and couldn't climb upstairs to get into bed, and I ended up sleeping on the sofa, and it's been about a month in after my surgery, and I'm still not trying to get up them steps to get in the bed. So one thing that we realized as we get older, stairs is not going to be for us.
Yeah, sure.
So we decided to try to get another home built in the same neighborhood at that time, but we wanted more of a ranch style home, and ended up, just long story short, it didn't come through. We ended up living in a hotel for a while, and then we ended up in Newnan.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's
how you got to Newnan, Georgia.
Yes. And the funny part is the house that we're in actually is the same house that we've seen while we was in the house in Sonoya.
Okay.
When we came out looking for houses, and at that time we wasn't looking for houses, but we came out, we were just looking at houses. That's a girl thing. I brought my husband along because you don't have choices. So I like to look at houses when they're getting built and things like that. But this exact same house, we looked at it, loved the floor plan, but just didn't like the backyard at the time. Well, of course, when you're in a moment of where you need a roof over your head,
right?
You got 4 people and 2 dogs.
Yep.
Trying to all cram up in one room. I'm like, we need a house, and I need you to sign on the dotted line today.
Sooner than later.
Yes.
So you're here in Newnan. So when did you hear the Lord saying to you, okay, you need to start a nonprofit?
Actually, that was while I was in Senoia.
Okay.
Because of everything that I had been through, even as a single parent, just looking for resources and couldn't find them. And then you still hear the same cycle with other people and other people that you're around, looking for those resources and not knowing where to look or where to even start is challenging, especially as a single parent. But then you also have married couples that are struggling and they didn't know how to get help. And of course, you always have that group of your friends where you get together and we always, well, so-and-so gets this and so-and-so gets that and we the one need the help and we can't get the help. And just because we made too much money at the time. Sure.
So you tell us a little about your nonprofit. What is it that you guys do and how do you serve the community?
So what our nonprofit is Sisters for Society. We are a 501c3, and what we do is provide a lifeline of support to individuals and families within the Fayette and the Coweta County area currently. Okay. We are going to be looking to expand in the future, but that lifeline of support comes with the love, it comes with guidance, it comes with the actual one-on-one connection that you need. What a difference that makes. It does. It makes a huge difference. Yeah. A lot of people sometimes just need somebody to talk to. Yeah. So you do. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was just going to say after they need assistance, but they also need someone to talk to, because when you're in your frustrations or you are in those moments of struggle, you don't have that level head. Yeah. So 2 heads are always better than one. So someone calls you, they go online, they find you, they call you and say, hey, have a need for food. Do they, or diapers or whatever? They call you and you schedule an appointment with them. Is that how that works? Actually, no. We do everything right then and there on the phone. The only thing we ask for is their license, and we ask them for their situation. What's really going on, and I ask for them to be truthful. So you kind of have us interview on the phone then with them. Okay. Yep. And after that, what we do is we get their box together, and because I am a mobile organization, and within Coweta County there has been a lack of transportation around. You have your Uber, and I think we have Coweta Transportation that picks you up and then takes you where you need to go, but they can't come to my home. So with that being said, within the same day or maybe the next day, depending on the time of the call, we try to get their food out to them. Yep, and we deliver directly to their home, or we even go and meet in a public place. Wow. Yep. And what else do you do besides food? Well, we do clothes. Okay. We do clothes and shoes. We have. And do people donate that to you? We do. So they donate this, and you go and pick it up, or they drop it off to you? Well, actually, we got a great connection where I don't even have to receive donations for a lot of clothing. Only certain size. So the clothing that we actually have comes from one place, and we go and we get all of this clothing, all of these shoes, books, and everything. But I get other nonprofits involved in this and collaborate with them to get all of this donations. You work with Melanie at River. I love Melanie. I'm actually going to see her right after this. Oh, good. Tell her I said hello. They've been on the show before. She and Bill. Yeah, good people. Yeah, good people. So people call, they donate. You have food, you have clothing. I have household goods, supplies, cleaning goods like cleaning supplies is what we do. Toilet tissue. Sometimes we have paper towels. We have diapers. We have toothbrushes, toothpaste. I mean, dish detergent. Anything that you may need to maintain your home. Those are the things that we also have. And we are limited on them, but if we have them, that's what we give.
Then you distribute that.
What we have done to be kind of a little different and stay connected with our people is we use a text messaging group, app that they have, and what we do is we let them know what's going on in our community and what we're doing. So one thing that I would love to stress about what we are really walking with our individuals, our families, through their journey, and
that probably that distinguishes you guys probably from a lot of nonprofits. Where, I mean, if you can literally walk with during that season, what an impact that has on that family and you as well. Well, Kavian, we're coming up on a hard break, but what I want to do when we get back, I want to hear some of the joys that you've experienced serving, as well as some of the challenges. Some of the challenges, because you don't do nonprofit ministry without having challenges.
Yes, that's true.
And then I just want to hear some of the life change stories that you've had. Friends, you're listening to Faith Works, and I'm Jimmy Ellison.
Hey, I'm Jimmy Ellison. I'm the pastor here at Noonan City Church. I want to thank you. You'll find as you walk through that we focus on three areas primarily. One is worship, small groups, and local missions. And our purpose is transforming lives for Jesus' sake, helping individuals experience that transformation. And we use these three areas, worship, small groups, and local missions, to help individuals experience that. You'll get a sense of who Noonan City Church is, and I hope that you'll come and worship with us soon. Take care, and God bless.
The end of days. A revelation is coming. See Scripture take living form as you take the judgment journey. He sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John. Faith Baptist Church in LaGrange brings you Judgment Journey. Dynamic, live, multimedia. Its 22nd year with over 18,000 witnessing every year. Beginning October 6th and every Friday and Saturday through November 3rd. Under 16 only with adults. Info and order tickets at judgmentjourney.com.
Wildwood Trader at 15 Greenville Street in Noonan is your home for hand-built antique furniture, cabinets, and more. Fun decorating items. And of course at Wildwood Trader, direct from the factory items and furniture. So you get 20% below the factory and store prices. Call 770-683-4304. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sundays, 12 noon to 5 p.m. Wildwood Trader, your home decorating specialist in Noonan. Ever dreamed of being a radio DJ or hosting your own show? Now here's your chance. WQEE 99 Rock the Key is giving you an opportunity to host your own show. If you'd like to get your advertising message across the thousands of listeners throughout the area, here's your chance. Hosting your own show is the way to do it. Perfect for attorneys, realtors, churches, sports talk shows, and more. Contact 678-673-6318 for further information. Host your own show.
WQEE 99 Rock the Key has opportunities for your church to be heard every Sunday. Become a part of our Sunday Sunrise, our evening services. Interested in information? Contact us at 678-673-6318. WQEE 99 Rock the Key, Noonan's home for classic rock and more.
Hi, I'm Walt Gutierrez, and here at Toyota of Noonan, we're all about the little things.
As in no hidden fees. And the biggest little thing we do for you is giving you more of everything, like our lifetime warranty with Toyota Care, plus 1 year of additional maintenance at no cost. And the Walternative, which gives you our best price, selection, and service. Plus get incredible savings on all new Toyotas. Visit us at toyotaofnoonan.com.
All the little things add up to one big thing, taking care of you.
Welcome back to Faith Works. I'm Jimmy Ellison, and we've Been in a conversation with Kavian Baker. She's the executive director of Sisters for Society here in Newnan. And Kavian, one of the things we want to talk about is we feel like it's always an important part of the conversation to talk about the joys and the struggles. So tell us some of the joys that you've had serving. And you're the founder, so you started this nonprofit, and I can only imagine that there's a lot of joy and struggle. So tell us about some of those joys.
So starting back in, let's start from 2016, before we had our 501c3. It was just me and the community. It was being involved and putting those smiles on people's faces, whether you are giving them a book bag for the kids or a loaf of bread. Yeah. Those are the type of things that I enjoy doing. I love being hands-on. Okay. So that's one of my greatest things. So, but the thing that you don't know and you don't realize is it's not all about being out there. You have to take some steps back and educate yourself on the business portion of it and not just the giving portion of it. So.
Yeah, people don't understand that part, do they? They have the idea, hey, I want to start this, but they have no idea. And that's why you're taking the Lead Institute, which really is how we got connected. Right. Not because of Newnan. It just so happens that we're both from Newnan, but I met you through Lead, which is a organization, nonprofit up in Atlanta, where you go through this class to learn how to start and sustain a nonprofit. Right. And I had taken the class years ago, and we met when I was back speaking for that. So So tell us. So those, I know those are some of the joys. When has your faith really been challenged?
So one of my challenges was I had been on my job for 11 years. And I loved my job. I was working in aerospace, as I mentioned before. Loved my job. But things started getting challenging at work. And I only did the nonprofit at that time. I only did it part-time. On the side, So I remember people were starting to get more difficult to work with. And
at your real work or
my real work?
Okay, real work.
Yes, the one that paid me.
Yeah.
So it was just people started getting more difficult to work with. Challenges started happening, and then I had to get stronger in my faith and what I needed to do. And that's when
you took the lead?
I did. I started taking lead this year.
A leap.
Oh, take the leap. Oh, yes, I did. I took a big leap of faith because of those challenges. I would come home every night and I would pray. I would cry and I would ask God to just guide me and lead me and just let me know which direction do you really want me to go. And it was the funniest thing because the day before I decided to take this leap, I had talked to the GM and we had a conversation and he told me, you're going to be okay. And just let me know if there's anything that you need me to do.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. But the next day I went to work. Well, actually that night I started clearing off my desk. I was getting ready to move, change desks. And instead of taking my stuff and putting it at my new desk, I ended up taking my stuff and putting it in a box and I took it home. And my husband, he was like, did you quit? And I was like, no, I didn't quit. I'm just going through some of my stuff at home and not really realizing it. So time for bed again. And I woke up refreshed. For whatever reason, I had prayed and I woke up refreshed that I was going to go in and start new sleeves, new arms, new legs, new body. And, but something happened. And while I was there, I just thanked them for the opportunity and the skills that they gave me. But I think that's when he spoke and was like, this is it. This is the end of your road with this place. And I turned in my keys.
Wow.
And I walked away and I haven't walked back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, what a leap of faith.
That was a strong leap of faith. And of course, the kids and everybody around me, they was like, well, why'd you do that?
What are you doing? What are you thinking?
My oldest son, I thought he was going to have a heart attack or something. He was like, what are we going to eat? I'm like, what do you mean, what are you going to eat? Like, you're going to have food. We're going to be fine,
It's interesting that I think anytime you jump off that ledge for the sake of the kingdom, there will be people who say, what are you doing? What will happen? Why is this happening like this? You get a lot of questions whenever you do. You really take a leap of faith for the sake of the kingdom,
right?
But God honors that.
Yes.
God honors that faithfulness to when you hear His voice. And now the key is making sure it's His voice.
Right.
That's the key. That is the key. Well, tell us, how many clients do you see on a regular basis, like over a month or 2 months time?
Well, within a month, we're probably servicing about 15 families.
Okay, great.
And
are they different families, or do you see them come back each month, or?
Most of them are different families. I only have, so I do a distribution of about 25 families, and these are grandparents and aunties and uncles that are raising children.
Yeah.
So, but that's a monthly distribution.
Yeah, that's
that
on
I
the
do
side.
with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then that's food.
That is food, and they also get clothes once a quarter as well.
Okay.
And outside of them, the other 80 families that I'm servicing, some of them are one-timers, and I have maybe 3 or 4 of those families that's
come
repeats.
back, yeah. And they, how do they hear about Sisters for Society?
Recently they've been coming through United Way.
Okay.
Through 211.
So you're on their short list.
I am.
So someone, and for those who don't know, 211 is the hotline for United Way in Atlanta area.
Right.
And so you call 211, they say, hey, we live in Newnan. The person says we live in Newnan, and they say, well, let me tell you about Sisters for Society.
Right.
Is that how that works?
Right.
Okay.
And then we also have other local nonprofits that know about us, and people that are in the community. They can always Google us. And always on social media. Yeah. So
which we'll get to at the end.
Right.
Make sure everybody hears all that. So that you get these clients. So tell us, there's got to be some wonderful stories about some families that you've been able to help them get back on their feet.
Oh yes, I have a couple of those actually. So I'll tell you the most inspiring one for me was this one particular client. She actually was raised through foster care, and as she got older, she had a child, and she became a single parent as well. And when I met her, she was at a broken space, and she felt like nobody is going to hire her. She don't have a place to go, and things were just not going to work out in her favor. She had all the doubt in the world on her, and it was frustrating. It was frustrating even when I was trying to project life into her. It was rejected. So, and she was extremely smart. Extremely smart young lady, and she actually showed me videos of things that she had done in her past. Like, she ran a whole summer camp.
Wow.
And and you sit here and you wonder, like, well, what happened?
Yeah.
But life happened to her. So she ended up being finding a place, but she needed furniture. So I ended up pulling resources for her. I was like, look, we're gonna put you in this spot, and we're gonna get things together. So we got her furnished. From her and her daughter, got beds, we got sofas for dishes and everything. So that portion of it was done. The next portion that we had to walk with her through was getting her a job. So as we found them, we were sending them to her. Things that we knew that took an interest to her is the things that I was trying to push on her, because she loved kids, but for whatever reason, she wasn't getting hired in those type of fields. So it was about, oh my goodness, 5 months of going back and forth, talking to her, meeting her, encouraging her, keeping her just on a positive note. And it was hard and challenging, but through these 5 months, she probably only received assistance, like a food box from us, maybe twice, and we did.
But it was so much more than the food.
It was so much more than the food,
and,
right?
I mean, that's what I wonder if people get that it's
to keep them encouraged.
This ministry, it's so much more than, okay, here's something to eat. It's that relationship and that, and what you said, that encouragement. That is, so they just, when that's what they need,
right?
As much as anything,
right? And what she didn't have is a positive person in her life, and that's why me and her, I felt like we connected. And she would call from time to time, and we would just talk on the phone. And she took an interest in my son, my youngest son. She called him Son.
What did she call him?
Son. She said that's her son.
Son to son. Wow.
She says I love him, and she was like. She always told me, she was like, you're doing a great job with him. And I said, I'm trying to do my best with him. And she spoke. When I watched her interact with my child, it was like she did a better job than some of the teachers that are in his life. And he received it. Like, we would go home and talk about some of the things that she had said to him. And that, to me, made me feel like, this girl is worth it. It's worth doing all of the talking to and encouraging. Well, guess what now? Here we go, 5 months later, she is now a life coach and mentor for foster kids.
Really?
Yeah, just through the talk, just through the conversation. And I'll never forget the day she got the email, and she sent it to me. She screenshot it and sent it to me, and I was so happy and so excited, because she had put doubt on her even getting this job because of her past. And I kept telling her, you know how many people that have done things in their past that are working? I've done some things in my past, and I'm working.
Who among us?
Right.
Really.
So, and it was so funny, and because the other part for that was also challenging was she believed in God, but she didn't believe in Jesus.
Really?
So our conversations were very interesting. And I told her, I said, I don't know if you're going to receive it, but I'm going to pray for you. And I did, and I still pray for her. And then she said, well, from your mouth into his, through me, I'll receive it.
Amen.
And I said, okay. And that was it. And I still text her to this day just to check in on her and see how she is doing. But now she's like, I don't want to be a person that needs your assistance anymore. I want to help you. I want to give you some help where you need it. And anything I can do, you let me know. Those are the moments that
just get you out of bed every morning.
It does. It really does.
Kavian.
Half of my families are my volunteers.
Well, I was going to ask you that. How do you handle your volunteers? What does that look like?
So my volunteers, like I say, we build relationships with our families, and majority of them are my families that I've helped in the past. But what I do is I put on the same app, I let them know what is going on and what we need help with. Like, if we are packing food boxes for the distribution, I just need 4 or 5 people, because of course, I can't use a lot of people. So, but those 4 or 5 people, they come. But there are 2 days out of the week that I do allow up to 10 people to come and help me and volunteer in the clothes closet, and those are Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So we are on, I don't know if you heard of Just Serve. Okay, so we're on there. Good. So they can sign up through there. They can also go on our website when it comes available. We're still working on it. It's a new website, so get ready for that. But they can still call us and let us know. I actually have a group coming on tomorrow. From Latter-day Saints. Yep. So I have 4 people coming.
And how did they hear about you?
It was funny because I was at the night market in Peachtree City.
Okay.
And I was actually helping a friend of mine at her booth, Tracy, and she looked at me and she looked at them, and they was looking at her art, and she nudged me, and I was like, "What?" And she was like, "Go talk. Those are your type of people."
What does that mean? What does that mean? Your type of people.
I was like, what are you talking about? And it was so funny, but it actually, because of the fact that they love Jesus and I love Jesus. So it was that connection.
That's your people. Jesus.
My Jesus people. Yes.
That's right.
So it was so funny. So I went and I talked to them and connected, and they're bringing 4 people out. So
that's exciting.
Yeah.
Well, what's coming up for you guys when you think about you looking out 6 months, a year out? What are some of the things on the horizon for Sisters for Society?
So one of the things that we are doing, well, of course, we have small fundraisers that are going on now. We're raising funds, but for next year, we're looking to get a building.
Okay.
We are looking to be at a place where people can actually come and see our work. Because
are you looking at the Peachtree City side of Newnan?
Coweta County.
Well, anywhere in Coweta County?
Yeah, anywhere in Coweta
County.
Even
as far as Sonoy or Sharpsburg, anywhere.
Anywhere within.
You just want to be in Coweta.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because it's this is where most of our clients are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what we have going on currently is we're getting ready to do our care packages for the homeless.
Okay.
That's a great awareness project that we've been doing, and we're doing it a little different this year because we're actually putting inspirational messages on those bags.
Okay.
And you'll actually be able to, the homeless can look at that bag and read something and repeat it back to themselves.
That's good.
So that's something that I've been trying to push. I need 12 sponsors, quote unquote. I need 12 sponsors to help us push that mission out. And I got 6 so far, so I'm super excited about that.
And what does that look like to sponsor that? What does that look like?
So one sponsor sponsors 12 bags for $50. And
$50 covers 12 bags.
Correct.
So it's one $50 gift. Okay.
Yeah, a $50 donation covers 12 bags. That means you're reaching 12 people. So if one person can reach 12, look at it that way.
Okay.
And you can say what would you say to a homeless person that is here in the Coweta County area or in another area?
Do you have any stats on the homeless in Coweta?
Not in Coweta.
Okay.
Let me say it that way.
Because we're still, there's a lot of talk now about the homeless in Coweta and the warming shelter. I'm talking to some leaders in downtown now. How do we provide a warming shelter when it gets in the 30s, in the next several months? And there's it's hard to find out what is that actual number.
So I have done some research. If you go on, the website's not going to come to me, but there's a Georgia homeless website that you can go on and you can find out how many are sheltered and how many are unsheltered. One thing that I do know is that the reporting for Coweta County, I don't believe it is correct. Just based off of
what you see,
what I see, because they have us being sheltered. But I've seen plenty of them that are not sheltered here, but they don't have a listing for that. So that's why I say I can't give you an accurate.
And there's so many families that are living on somebody's couch or living in the hotel. I know right now several that are living in the hotel. I mean, I
have a few of them that are working.
Yeah, so it's hard to really grasp exactly what that number looks like. So you got that project coming up. Well, so if somebody wants to volunteer, how does somebody volunteer for the mission?
All they do is just give us a call.
Okay. They can give us what's that number?
That's 866-811-6123, and you can call me directly at extension 901. You can go on send us a message on Facebook. on Instagram.
What's your Facebook page? What's it called?
It's Sisters with the number 4 Society.
Sisters for Society.
Correct. Yes.
Got it.
Yep. So, and that's all of our handles for our Facebook or Instagram and our Twitter account.
Okay, that is exciting, man. It's just been so good to hear your story, Kavian.
Yes, thank you.
Just excited about the ministry that Sisters for Society, what you're doing there, and just the vision the Lord's given you to truly impact these families that are on the margins here, right with us. You don't, you don't have to go to another country,
right,
in order to help the poor, right?
Yes.
As we have the poor, we have the poor amongst us,
right?
And Jesus had quite a bit to say about helping the poor,
right?
And so, boy, it's so good to have you.
Thank you. Thank you again for the invite.
So, friends, again, check out Kavian Baker and the Sisters for Society. That's 4 with an actual number 4. Sisters for Society on Facebook. If you want to volunteer, you want to hear more about them, I know Kavian would be happy to respond to you. Giving her a message there. Well, friends, it's been great to have you with us today on FaithWorks. I trust that you'll be with us next week as we continue the conversation with leaders in Newnan who are showing that faith does indeed work. Have a wonderful week. Take care and God bless.
Thanks for tuning in to Faith Works with Pastor Jimmy Ellison from Newnan City Church. Tune back in here next week for another edition of Faith Works.